Listen to me. There was a moment when the world went quiet. No cheers, no crew, no sunlight, just darkness and the sound of my own breathing. They thought that was the moment I'd finally stop smiling. They thought fear would crawl into my chest and make me kneel. But here's what they never understood about me. I don't fight when I'm confident. I fight when I'm cornered. Because when you trap someone who refuses to quit, you don't create fear. You create a monster. And tonight, I'm not running. I'm not asking. I'm not explaining. I'm breaking out. They didn't attack me from the front. No, they waited. They watched me laugh. They watched me trust. They watched me dream out loud. And then they closed the door. One lie at a time. One doubt at a time. One betrayal at a time. Suddenly everyone had advice. Slow down. Be realistic. Know your limits. Limits. I was surrounded by people who never chased anything dangerous. People who call safety wisdom and courage stupidity. That's when I realized the real prison isn't walls. It's voices. And those voices were getting louder in my head. What if you fail? What if you're not enough? What if they were right? That's how suspense really works. Not explosions, not screams, silence, and doubt. I stayed quiet. Not because I was weak, but because I was listening. Fear has a sound. It whispers. It repeats itself. It tries to sound logical. But then I heard something else. My heartbeat, steady, heavy, unapologetic. That's when it hit me. Every great enemy tries to defeat you before the fight starts. They exhaust your mind. They poison your belief. They make you question your own fire. So I stopped arguing with them. I stopped proving myself. And I did something dangerous. I smiled. Because nothing scares the enemy more than someone who looks defeated, but isn't. Let me tell you a truth nobody likes to say out loud. Pain is not your enemy. Comfort is. Pain sharpens you. Comfort dulls you. Every scar I carry is proof that I survived a version of myself that wanted to quit. I don't need approval. I don't need permission. I don't need to be understood. Dreams aren't supposed to be safe. They're supposed to be terrifying. If your goal doesn't scare people, you're aiming too low. If your journey doesn't isolate you, you're not serious. And if your smile disappears when things get hard, then it was never real. I don't walk this path because it's easy. I walk it because it's mine. So here's what I did. I didn't escape the darkness. I used it. I let it harden me. I let it teach me patience. I let it burn away every excuse. And when the door finally opened, I didn't rush out. I stepped forward slowly. Not angry, not desperate, focused. Because the moment you stop reacting, you start controlling the fight. They expected fear. What they saw was resolve. They tried to end my story in silence, but I turned it into momentum. So listen carefully. If you're surrounded, if you're doubting, if the world feels like it's closing in good, that means the next version of you is forming. Don't beg. Don't explain. Don't retreat. Clench your fists, lift your head, and walk forward smiling. Because when I fight, I don't fight to survive. I fight to become inevitable. And once I move, there's no stopping me. You know what's strange? The moment you stop being afraid, the world starts panicking. They felt it before they saw it. The silence around me changed. Not peaceful, heavy, like the air knew something was about to break. I wasn't loud anymore. I wasn't reckless. I was precise. Every step I took echoed like a warning, not to me, but to them. Because when a man stops explaining himself, he's already decided. They tried again. Different tactics this time. Not forced confusion. They questioned my motives. They twisted my words. They turned allies into spectators. Why is he still smiling? Why isn't he reacting? Why won't he fall apart? Because I understood something they didn't. If you let people control your emotions, you hand them the weapon. So I took mine back. I let them talk. I let them assume. I let them underestimate. That's the deadliest position of all. I won't lie to you. There was a moment, just one, where the weight almost crushed me, where the darkness whispered, stop, rest, quit. My hands were shaking. Not from fear, from restraint. Because real strength isn't exploding. It's holding yourself together when nobody's watching. That's when I realized if I broke now, I'd prove them right. So I stood there, breathing, bleeding, unbowed, waiting. Something shifted. They noticed it too. The same people who mocked my dream started watching my movements. The same voices that laughed went quiet. Because confidence is loud, but inevitability is terrifying. They weren't facing hope anymore. They were facing commitment. And commitment doesn't negotiate. I didn't announce my move. I didn't threaten. I acted, one decision at a time, one step forward, no hesitation. I didn't destroy them. With anger, I outlasted them with purpose. They ran out of patience. I didn't. They ran out of belief. I didn't. That's how wars are really won. So if you're waiting for applause, stop. If you're waiting for permission, forget it. The moment you choose this path, you walk alone. But understand this, the world doesn't stop you because you're weak. It stops you because it sees what you're becoming. And next time, I won't be walking. I'll be charging. This is where it ends. Not with noise, not with drama, with a decision. Once I stepped forward, there was no turning back. Fear didn't leave. I just stopped listening to it. That's the difference between people like me and everyone else. They wait for courage. I move without it. They threw everything at me. Doubt, pressure, isolation. They wanted one thing for me to hesitate. Because hesitation is the only opening fear needs. But I remembered something simple. Every storm I survived trained me for this moment. Every laugh behind my back sharpened my teeth. So when the weight came down, I didn't bend. I laughed, not because it was easy, but because it was over. I stopped reacting to their moves. I set the pace. When they pushed, I advanced. When they threatened, he ignored. When they doubted, he executed. That's how control works. You don't overpower the enemy. You remove their options. Step by step, their confidence collapsed. Not with screams, with silence. Here's the truth nobody talks about. The real battle wasn't them. It was the version of me that wanted comfort over greatness. And I killed that version. No ceremony, no apology. Because dreams don't survive mercy. Once I did that, nothing outside me mattered anymore. I was free. They stood there, watching, not angry, not mocking, afraid. Because they realized too late I wasn't chasing victory. I was becoming something that couldn't be stopped. I didn't win. I arrived. So listen carefully. If you're tired, keep going. If you're doubting, move anyway. If the world stands in your way, smile. Because once you decide to walk forward without asking, you don't need luck. You don't need approval. You only need one thing, to never stop. And I won't.